The single most complex and mysterious thing in the entire known universe might be happening inside your head at this very moment. Today, we're going to dive into consciousness, that private inner world of thoughts and feelings you're experiencing right now.
So let me ask you something. What are you thinking right now? Seriously, the fact that you can hear my voice, process these words, and even be aware of your own mind working, that's consciousness in action. It's pretty magical when you stop to think about it. So, how in the world does it all happen? Well, let's get into it.
All right, first things first. We need to try and pin down this fundamental experience we all have, this simple yet profound feeling of just being. At its core, consciousness is what lets us experience the world. It's the fundamental difference between, say, a rock and you. It's that feeling when you wake up and the sunlight hits your face and you can smell coffee brewing somewhere. Every single one of those sensations, those thoughts, it's all part of this incredible and still very mysterious process.
Now, to really understand this feeling, we have to go to the source. We need to look inside the amazing organ that conducts this whole show. So let's explore the incredible, chaotic symphony that's playing in your brain. The scale of what's going on in there is just mind-boggling. 86 billion. Let that number sink in. That's roughly how many neurons are in your brain, and every single one of them is constantly chattering away, sending electrical and chemical signals back and forth in this unbelievably complex dance. To try and picture that, imagine a stadium with millions of people, all talking at once and sharing information thousands of times every second. It's out of that beautiful chaos, when these signals sync up in just the right way, the consciousness seems to emerge. It really is a symphony of signals. So, who are the lead musicians in this orchestra? Well, scientists think two parts are absolutely key. First, you have the thalamus. You can think of it like the brain's central traffic controller. It takes in all the information from your senses and directs it where it needs to go. Then, you've got the cerebral cortex, that wrinkly outer layer. That's the thinker, the part responsible for all the heavy lifting like language and complex thought.
But here's the really cool part. It's not a one-way street. The thalamus and the cortex are in a constant, non-stop conversation. The thalamus sends sensory data up, the cortex processes it, and sends feedback down. It's this continuous loop, this back and forth, that many leading theories say literally is our conscious awareness. The richness of that interconnected conversation creates the experience of being you. But, this conversation isn't always at the same volume. Consciousness isn't just on or off. It comes at a whole range of different levels. Yeah, forget thinking about it like a light switch. A much better way to picture it is like a dimmer switch or a volume slider. It can be turned way up or dialed way down, and there are all sorts of stages in between. So at the very bottom of the slider, you've got deep, dreamless sleep. Your awareness of the outside world is basically zero. But don't be fooled. Your brain is incredibly active, working hard to repair your body and consolidate all your memories from the day. Slide it up a notch, and you hit the dream state. Now, this is a whole other kind of consciousness, right? You're having these incredibly vivid experiences. You can see things, feel things, but it's all being generated from inside your own mind. And next up is that state we all know too well, that groggy, in-between feeling when you're just starting to wake up. Your awareness is foggy, and the world is slowly coming back into focus. And finally, crank that slider all the way to the top, and you're fully awake and alert. This is peak consciousness. But even here, its intensity changes. I mean, think about it. There's a huge difference between just chilling out and listening to some music and trying to solve a really tough math problem. Both are awake, but the level of focus is completely different. But even when that slider is maxed out, are you really conscious of everything? Not even close. Your brain is an amazing filter. Right now, as you're focusing on my voice, you probably haven't been aware of the feeling of the chair you're sitting on or a quiet hum in the room until I just mentioned it. Your brain is constantly deciding what's important enough to let through. Otherwise, we'd be completely overwhelmed. Okay, so we've looked at the parts of the brain involved in the different levels of awareness. But this all leads us to the biggest question of them all. The one that is, frankly, one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in all of science. And here it is. This is the heart of the problem. We can trace the physical stuff. We know that when you look at the color red, certain wavelengths of light hit your retina, electrical signals shoot down your optic nerve, and specific neurons fire in your brain. We can map that whole physical journey. But how does a bunch of electricity and chemicals zipping between cells become the private, personal feeling of seeing red? This is what experts call the hard problem of consciousness. The easy problem, and trust me, it's still insanely difficult, is mapping the brain and figuring out which parts do what. But the truly hard problem is explaining that leap. How does physical brain stuff create subjective mind stuff? How does it create the actual experience of tasting chocolate or feeling a cool breeze?
And just when you think your brain can't take any more, there's another incredible layer to all of this: self-awareness. It's one thing to see the world, but it's something else entirely to know that it is you who is seeing it. That ability to turn your focus inward, to ask, who am I? To know you exist as an individual, that seems to be a special kind of consciousness tied to the most advanced part of our brain, the prefrontal cortex.
Now, just because it's a mystery doesn't mean we aren't trying to solve it. Researchers are throwing everything they have at this. We're talking about advanced brain scanners that let us watch thoughts form in real time. They're studying altered states like deep meditation. They're even using what we're learning from artificial intelligence to try and reverse engineer the secrets of our own minds. So when you boil it all down, consciousness is what makes us human. It's the source of every idea, every memory, every emotion we've ever had. We definitely don't have all the answers, not even close, but the search to understand ourselves, to figure out what we are, that is maybe the greatest adventure we'll ever take. The only real question left is, where does this incredible journey go next?